Hi, I'm Tom, ND3N, and now I've been a Kenwood guy for most of my ham life. Not because I think Kenwood is the best thing out there, but because it's what I started with and what I'm used to. I like having a backup radio though. In the past I've had ICOMs back up my Kenwoods, and vice versa. When I started seeing the Yaesu FT-991A advertisements, I was intrigued. The features listed were outstanding for the price, so I started saving up my pennies. I was a little disheartened to see that this rig was unavailable and out of stock at any of my normal online ham radio retailers. But I put it on my wish list and would check its status occasionally. Thus, I was very excited when I saw that it was now in stock at Ham Radio Outlet. This was on a Friday. Unfortunately, payday wasn't until the following Tuesday, and I was still a little short. Over the weekend, the Ham Radio Outlet website said that they had sold out. Well, I was disappointed, but nevertheless, on Tuesday, I placed my order, expecting that it might take several months to ship. Imagine my surprise that afternoon when I got the notification on my email that the rig had shipped. That was several months ago, and since then I've been playing with the FT-991. My primary radio, a Kenwood TS890S, had to go into the repair shop several weeks ago, so the FT-991A has been pressed into service. I've been using it as my VHF UHF rig, both for local repeaters and for the C4FM, that's Yaesu System Fusion. I've also been using it on HF for FT8 quite a lot, and CW, PSK, and RIDI rag chewing on Ham Radio Deluxe. I even used it with my contesting software in the North American QSO Party RIDI flavor. I will be using it in an upcoming voice, CW, RIDI, and digital contest, as well as just rag chewing and playing around. Now let's start with what I like about the radio. First is the build quality. Yaesu is part of the Vertex group. Now Vertex manufactures radios for the military, police, fire departments, and other first responders. As such, they have to meet very strict requirements for radios used in harsh environments. The lessons learned by Vertex are also passed along to Yaesu. In short, these radios are built like tanks. They meet the same military standards that are required for military radios in aircraft, helicopters, submarines, and yes, tanks. As an example, the first Yaesu radio I purchased was an FT-60R handheld. While doing some work on my roof, the HT fell from my belt to the concrete driveway, a drop of about 12 feet. Well, I was really upset, but I got down the ladder, and aside from a small scratch on the case, the radio was undamaged and worked perfectly. I kept that radio as my primary handheld for another 5 or 6 years. Second, although it's not as intuitive as I would like, and I'll get into that, the FT-991A is still pretty easy to operate once you've done something a time or two. Having used it a few months now, I'm finding myself just doing stuff instead of having to research the owner manuals or go online to find out which buttons to push, knobs to turn, and menus to set. Now, this radio has a cool factor along with the new radio feel. It's a rig that I'm proud to show off when others visit my shop. I can say the same thing about every new radio I've ever bought. I wouldn't buy anything if it wasn't cool. Finally, on reasons I like this radio, it's an all-band, all-mode rig. I've really been having a ball learning about and playing with C4FM. I've yet to find anything that it can't do that my TS890 can do. With the addition of the VHF, UHF bands and C4FM, there are things that this radio can do that my more expensive, much more expensive Kenwood cannot. Not that I'm going to be trading my Kenwood in anytime soon. I just can't wait for it to get back from the repair shop. Now, for what I don't like about this radio. First, there are too many menus. Pressing the menu button brings up 153 items. Many of them are set and forget, but there are others that occasionally need to be changed to match whatever you're doing at the moment. I see this as a general flaw with Yaesu radios. Other manufacturers, while using menus, have fewer menu items, make them easier to access, make them easier to understand, and are much more intuitive. In addition to the menu, pressing the M-List button will bring up a variety of options that change with the selected mode. Although the owner's manual has a lot of good information, finding that information and understanding that information is difficult. Perhaps if I had more exposure to Yaesu radios, it would be easier. After all, there is always a learning curve with any new thing, but the way this owner's manual is laid out makes it so my first option to figure out how to do something is often YouTube or Google user groups. My next complaint is with the display. With a diagonal measurement of only 3 3/8 inches, it's a very small display. Perhaps if I had dainty hands it would be better, but I got fat fingers with a little bit of arthritis and the beginnings of neuropathy. I have to be very careful when selecting a menu item on the touchscreen, or really doing anything on the touchscreen. I've tried several touchscreen pens, but none of them seem to work well for me, if at all. If you have a suggestion that might mitigate this problem, and to tell the truth, it's more a problem with me than it is with the radio, please leave me a comment below. Because of the size of the display, the waterfall is sometimes hard to decipher and distinguish between displayed signals. The internal antenna tuner seems to take much longer to match my antenna system than any other rig I've ever owned with an internal or external tuner. This is more of a irritation than anything else. The time it takes to tune, while longer, doesn't quite reach the objectionable stage. My final complaint is more of one of personal preference than anything else. There is no rear panel keyer, so I have to run my keyer connection into the front of the radio like this. I prefer cables that are permanent, and I do a lot of CW, to be on the back panel to keep them out of my way, especially during contest and just general rag chew CW operations. The overall impression of this radio, it's positive. This radio was designed as both a mobile rig and a base station. Thus, it has somewhat small dimensions, 9 inches by 3.5 or 3.2 inches by 10 inches. That's a little bigger than most mobile rigs and smaller than most base stations. The size certainly makes it very portable for times I want to operate outside the shack, such as field day. That it has all the HF bands from 160 to 10 meters plus 6, 2, and 70 centimeters is definitely a plus. C4FM is a fun mode that I'm still learning about. The complaints I have are either because I'm used to different radios or because I'm not used to this radio. The functions and features are those I would expect from a radio at a much higher price point. When considering the cost, the quality build, and the overall design and operation of this rig versus the relatively minor concerns I've listed, I've come to the conclusion that this is a great little radio to not only have as a backup, but to have as a prime radio in my shack. there it is, my first review. Please note, these are my opinions and yours may certainly vary. If they do, or if you agree with me on a given point, or if you have a suggestion on how I can get past some of the problems I've mentioned, please leave a comment down below. Also, please let me know if you'd like to see other radio reviews for rigs I own or will own in the future. Please share this video with any of your friends or acquaintances that may be considering a new radio or this particular radio. Please subscribe to this channel so that you can see all of my content in one convenient place. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you know when new content is posted. Please give me a like by clicking on that thumbs up button. Now remember, likes are free. They only take a moment of your time and they show me that you appreciate my efforts. As always, I'm at your service. I'm Tom, ND3N, and thank you for stopping by my little shack in the corner for a ham shack chat. 7:30 for now. I'm out.